Hi. Okay, so impromptu makeup. We're going to on a date night. Some neighbors invited us, so I'm kind of excited to spend some time with them, get to know them a little bit. And I'm gonna do a little bit different than my normal method. Let me just scoot this down a little bit. I'm going to use some of my favorite brushes, and I'll tell you about those. I'm going to try to get a move on with this, but I'm going to do something, it's called the Camo method. So we're going to use a color to camouflage. Then we're going to use a pop color, which I normally call our brightening highlight, and then we're going to use a bridge color. So your camo color is going to be your darkest. Excuse these are used up pretty good. This is my pop color, which is going to be my lightest. And then this is my bridge color, which bridges them together, brings them together. So I normally use 3 colors anyway, but a lot of times I'll only recommend 2 to you. And I think that I might just start recommending 3 to make your life a little bit easier. It's a great transition too. But the first thing that we're going to start with is contour, because if you start with your contour, you tend to figure out where you need to apply the other things and you don't have to put as much. So I am going to use my finger for my contour, and I'm going to find my cheekbone, the highest part of my cheekbone, and then I'm going to put it just right there. So not really under. If you want to find the dip of your cheekbone, that's fine. You can do it this way. You can just find the dip and then you're going to put a line right above it. And here's a quick little trick. The more round your face is, if you want it to look more narrow, you're going to use a little bit more of a vertical line versus a horizontal line. So not completely vertical, but instead of scooping it up like this. And a great way to think about this is if you wear horizontal stripes, it will make you look wider. So if your face is already wide, you may not want to put it too scooped. And if you wear vertical stripes, it can make you look thinner, right? So it's a kind of a great way to remember it. So I'm kind of going a little bit in a downward motion. I'm not going past the outside corner of my eyes when I do that. And I have a little bit of extra shadow naturally right here on this side, so I'm just going to get a little bit of that away. Then I'm going to do my forehead, and I'm going to do it a little bit different than I normally do. I normally tell you a number 3. It's similar, but we're almost going to create like a triangle. Let me show you. So I'm going to try to make like a triangle right here. If you feel like you have a really wide forehead, you can totally just add a little bit of extra here. But we're kind of just trying to bring all the attention. Everything that we do with this makeup is we're bringing the attention right here, okay? So 3D is 3-dimensional. Our makeup is that way because our face is 3-dimensional. It's not one flat surface. We have a lot of shadows and natural dips and creases, and we don't want to diminish all of that, but we want to accentuate the best and diminish the things that we don't want to see. So now I'm going to take my contour and I'm going to disguise my little jowls right here, and I'm just going to sculpt my cheek or my jawline a little bit, and then I'm putting a little bit extra right there because I've got that little bit. And if you notice, I stop here. I'm not going where I already dip in because darker colors make things recede and brighter colors make them come forward. So if you want something to kind of disappear a little bit or recede, look smaller, then you're going to put the dark there. But since this already recedes, I don't want to accentuate that. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to contour my nose at the end. But this is a great place to start. You can already see that it's sculpted your face out a little bit. Then the next thing we're going to do is called the camo color, which is traditionally, it's going to be your darkest of your foundation colors, okay? Your darkest highlight. So you can do this with your finger or with a brush. I'm just going to show you everything, I think, with a finger, and then we'll blend with a brush. It'll be a little bit easier to visualize. So wherever you feel like you need to camouflage a little bit, like if you feel like you're a tiny bit dark right here, you're going to just do a very light hand of this. But you're going to put it in those spots that you want to camouflage. Those blemishes are pretty bright, so I might have to come back to those again. And, you know, usually I'm a little bit pink right here, so I'll just kind of do here. And this is also my main color, so it's going to be the color that's going to go on the majority of my face. I always tend to be red right here, so I'm going to put it here also. And on my nose. Okay, so that's our camo color, or our main highlight. The next color we're going to do is the pop. So this is our brightening. This is going to be the lightest one of your highlights, and this is where you're going to create a pop. So the first place I'm going to do it is I'm going to just draw a really straight, skinny line down my nose. And then I'm going to do inside corner, and you've heard me say this, inside corner, outside corner, sides of nose. Okay. And if you guys have any questions along the way, let me know. I am here to answer anything. Now, after you get your makeup, after you've had your makeup for 5 years and you just want a refresher, that's what I'm here for. Some people like to put a little bit on their chin. I don't feel like I need to make my chin more prominent, but sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit hollow right there, so I'll just add the tiniest bit right there. Now, wherever we haven't put any color, this whole system is about just doing one layer. It's not layer upon layer. So wherever you feel like, sorry, I have something in my eye. Wherever you feel like you haven't put anything else, that is where we're going to put the bridge color. So the bridge color is a mid color. Another great reason to have more than 2 shades, or at least 2 shades, is that you can mix them together to make a middle color. You can transition through the seasons a little bit easier, but this is the bridge color. So I'm going to pretty much put this everywhere that I didn't put the other colors. Okay? So I'm going to bridge everything together. And right under my contour. Okay, there we go. We've got our contour on, and our camo color, our pop color, and our bridge color. Like I said, I'm going to save the contour on my nose till the last. So while this is just sitting there warming up, I'm going to do my eyeshadow really quick. I'm going to do something really simple. I don't have a ton of time. I'm going to, oh, first let me put a little bit of my favorite eyeshadow primer. I don't use a face primer anymore. I've tried, gosh, I don't know, half a dozen of them. And I've realized that this makeup really just goes on better when I've had good skincare and I'm moisturized and I've let the moisturizer soak in, and I don't need primer. If I am going to use something as a primer, it's going to be my setting spray, which also for us works perfectly as a primer. And normally I would spray that on my dampened perfector sponge and I would blot it all over my face, but especially in places that move a lot, like around my eyes and where I have maybe bigger pores around my nose. Okay, I am going to grab this color. It is called Gigi. It's kind of a little bit of a plummy brown. It's got some shimmer. I'm just going to put this all over my lid. I'm wearing gray and this blue shirt, and they're both kind of cooler colors, so I thought maybe I would just do something a little bit different on my eyes. I love this color though. This is one of those colors that you can kind of put, you could put all over your eye. I'll add a little bit extra on my crease. And really not need anything else. If you just wanted one color, it works really nicely. I'm just kind of blending that into my crease and a little bit above my crease. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of, this is oak. It's just a very neutral brown. I'm going to give myself a little bit more dimension right at that kind of highest point of where my, under my arch there. And I like to stay on that outside part of my eye, but I don't go down too far because I want to stay really lifted in here. So I kind of give myself this imaginary line. And that helps a lot. And I don't really go in much further than about right here because I don't want to close my eyes in too much. If your eyes are farther set, you totally have the room to do that. If your eyes are really close set, you're not going to want to put any dark in that inner part because it's just going to draw them together even more, and it can make your eyes look a lot smaller too. And the whole point of this, like I said at the beginning, is we want to bring attention to this area right here. It's like the triangle of light. It's kind of your money shot right there, that beautiful area. You can even think of it as a diamond if you want to, okay? But just emphasize that. I think I really love this GG on my lid. So I'm going to take this little brush on the eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to put it under my eye too. I'll run it across the bottom about halfway. I don't wear eyeliner very much anymore. I just use my eyeshadow as liner. And if you want to kind of juice that up a little bit, you can dampen it with water or with the Stay Spray. And it will give you a much richer solid color. Sorry, does this weird you out? Some people are weirded out by things going near the eyeball. I wore contacts for so many years that I still feel like I have phantom contacts. I had LASIK done like, oh my gosh, how long ago was it? Probably, I want to say like 17 years ago. And I still feel like I have stuff in my eye all the time. Like I have a contact in there or something. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter color to pop in the inner corner. And I think I'm going to use this one right here. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Mama. I might be wrong. I'll look it up and let you know if you want. It's just a little pink. I'll put that on the inside, and then I'm going to take Cupcake, which is the lightest one, and I'm going to put it under my brow. Wow, now that I'm looking in this other mirror, it looks pretty intense. Like I've got a lot of eyeshadow on. My husband's always like, whoa, that's a lot of eyeshadow. And to some people, this is like nothing. I think I'm just going to take my Vanilla Dust and kind of tone it down a little bit. This is a great little trick if you feel like you're not blended. Because it's translucent, and when you first put it on, it looks like you almost covered everything up. But once you blend it, it just kind of softens and blends everything even more. So, there we go. I like it. I'm happy with that. And now it's time to blend our foundation. Look I got a couple of little flakes of the eyeshadow there. This is another great reason to do your eye makeup before you blend your face. Okay, so I'm going to grab my 30, I think this is just called the 3D brush now. The 3D brush, that's what it's called. I'm going to wave at you guys. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to use the round side, and I'm just going to blend. And I'm going to do my light color first. And I like to kind of go in circles. I kind of push it in there. I don't really lift the brush off of my face a lot. But you can kind of stipple and push in. But you want to definitely blend. I was doing a lesson with somebody the other day, and she was just so light-handed that it wasn't working the product in there. And I was like, you can be aggressive. Like, you know, don't rip your skin off or anything, but you can really push it in there. The bristles aren't going to break. And as soon as she did that, she was like, oh, now I got it. I felt like she was just dusting. And I was like, be aggressive. Be aggressive. Okay, so I've got all of the light blended. If you feel like you didn't get in there enough, just use your finger. But look at how seamless it is. It's so pretty. Okay. Now you can use the same side of the brush, or you can turn this over and you can use this side to blend your contour and really push it into your hairline. We don't want to stop and start line with this. You don't want to have like a white line in your hairline and then all of a sudden this dark. And you just kind of blend it so that you don't have a stop and start here either. Just kind of a soft transition. But this all of a sudden just really drew even more attention to my eyes. And it made my forehead look a little bit smaller because of that illusion with the shadow. When you do your contour, now I put a little bit extra on so you guys could really see. So I probably got too much, but that's okay. When you do your contour, don't drag it down. Kind of push it back into your hairline and go in a little bit of an upward motion. We want to stay really uplifted here. And don't get too far in here either. I call this like the Bermuda Triangle. When you smile, this part right here. Like, I don't want to get any blush in there. I don't want to get any contour in there. I want to stay away from that. And if you get a little too much, you can just kind of blend things away until you're happy. Okay, I really like that. It is date night after all. We can go a little bit bolder, right? I'm going to do something a little bit different with my cheek color that I don't normally do. But I just learned it. I haven't tried it yet, but that's never stopped me before. Like I always say, you can't mess this stuff up. My 3 big tips, or just words of encouragement. You can't mess this stuff up. A little bit goes a long way. And what's my 3rd thing? How did I forget the 3rd thing? It'll come to me. If somebody knows, just tell me. You've heard me say it enough. You can't mess this stuff up. A little bit goes a long way. I'm always here to help you. That's kind of a bonus one, though. I don't think that's the 3rd one I normally say. Okay. Love it. Love it. Let's do my nose contour. So I'm going to grab my detail for this one. And I love this side for bronzer. So, because I just like that flatness on it. So I'm just going to very carefully lean it on there and draw the straightest line I can. And the closer these 2 lines are together, so the narrower that little white line is in the middle, the narrower your nose will look. And then just lightly blend. Some people I notice they'll just blend with their fingers like this because it's easy to over blend the contour. But we don't also want to look at it and go, whoa, she's got, 2 lines down her nose. We just want it to blend nicely. So I like it. Now, why don't we add a little bit of bronzer? This is my bronzer, and this is an illuminator, and I'm going to actually just dab them together. Like, I don't care if I mix them because it's going to add a little bit of a shimmer glow. And since it is date night, I can do it. I'm going to make sure I put some down here. My self-tanner that I've been trying out is pretty much faded off, but I need to do it again. Okay. Just kind of gives a really nice soft finish. Okay, see, I'm looking at my nose and I'm like, okay, that's not blended enough because I can see too much of a line. It's too obvious. So I'll just kind of dab that. That's better. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that illuminator that I just mixed with my bronzer. I'm going to put that down my nose. I'm going to add some extra at the top of my cheekbone. You can put it at the bow of your lip. And now let's try something a little bit different with cheek color. So I just saw somebody do this and I was like, that's kind of genius. I'm stealing it. Let me find my, I want like a really, really light fluffy brush. I'll use, I think I'll just use my blush and bronzer. I'll use the bronzer side again. I just wiped it off a little bit. This is a color called Petal. I barely ever use it because it's super, super pink. But we're just going to put the tiniest bit right there in the fleshiest part of your cheek. Just to kind of give like a little kiss. of it. And then I'm going to use Love Spell today. This is also kind of a plummy brown. And since I used kind of that plummy brown on my eyeshadow, I thought it would go pretty together. I like to use my fingers, and I've been putting it just above my contour, but in that same area, so a little bit more outside of my eye. Blush is a personal preference for sure, but I've just noticed the further out that I put it, it really brightens up my eye more, and it's more uplifting on my cheeks. So I've been staying out of that apple zone. All right. That is done. Now let's throw a little bit of setting spray on here. This is the Stay Spray. I just put it in my travel bottle, and you can spray it directly on your face. I will brave that just for you. Or if you are scared to spray it on your face, you can dampen your Perfector sponge. This one is not quite damp enough, but you can spray it directly on your Perfector sponge, and then you can blot it on your face like so. Okay, so this is where I'm going to cover those couple of blemishes. I'm going to make sure that I wipe any color right there because I want that pop. And I'm going to do my eyebrows. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Holly. I'm going to do my eyebrows, and I think I am almost done. Maybe I'll add a little pop more of eyeliner, but anyway, let's do eyebrows. I'm going to use my contour, and this is the line brush. Oh, you know what? Oh, where's my brow wax? If I have the brow wax handy, I'm going to use a little bit of it. Let me see if it's in here. Nope. Okay, never mind. I tricked you. I'm going to use my contour. When I color match you, I usually will pick a contour that's going to be great under here, and it's going to match your eyebrows really nicely too. I've noticed that's a great way to choose contour on probably 90% of people. And I'm starting in that arch area. Oh, somebody must be at the door. Sorry. Okay, so I started at the arch, and then I'm just going to brush that a little bit. Charlie, I'm doing a show here. Oh, I thought it worked. Okay, eyebrows look good. Let me grab my multitasker brush, and we'll cover up these two blemishes. I'm using this really small side of the multitasker, and I'm just dotting exactly on those blemishes. I'm not going around them. I will cover a little bit more under my nose. And I think that's it. I think I'm good. Just checking to see if I need to clean anything up. Okay, I think I like it. Okay, let's dab these. I just dab until it disappears. Very lightly. I'm not rubbing it around, I'm just kind of patting it. Okay, now we can add some vanilla dust powder. Let me grab my powder brush here. I'll just use this side. Doesn't matter what side you use. It doesn't matter what brush you use. Just find one that you feel like it fits in the right curve of your face. And really, you can kind of use brushes for multiple things, and just because it's called the powder brush doesn't mean you have to only use it for powder. You can use it to apply your foundation with. You can use it for contour. Like this one is the powder brush, but I used this side for contour on my last video because that's what my lady liked to use. So I said, okay, I'll do it. All right, so I'm pressing that, just kind of patting that in. Look at how the powder just diffuses everything. It's like a filter. It's like instant filter. Okay, let me go back one more time to my multitasker brush. I'm going to use the bigger side, and I'm going to take a little bit of my Arabian Night. This is a cream eyeshadow. It is so pretty as eyeliner. So I'm just going to kind of juice up my eyeliner a tiny bit. I'm just going to do it on the outer corners, on the top and the bottom, just to give myself a little bit of more depth there. Okay, plus that really made my eyes look bright. All right, you guys, I think, unless you have any questions, I'm just going to dust that powder, make sure I got it all blended. Unless you have any questions, I never do my lips. I'm just not much of a lipstick girl. Let's just put a little bit of this on. This is that Love Spell. I should throw this in my little compact in my purse in case I want to touch up. All right, there it is. If you feel like you want to add anything, go right ahead. I'm pretty happy with the way that looks, and I need to get going. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and a happy Easter if that's what you're celebrating, and have a beautiful night.